right, I know I said I was gonna stop being preachy, but I had a little nap and then I watched Life Outrage and now I'm just like he inspired me. He was posted a video about how everything is fake and he just was spitting facts. And one thing that I was thinking about was like war and laws. Like he mentioned war, and I think he briefly mentioned laws, but I just don't understand like why everybody in the world is not just saying, I'm not going to listen to what you tell me to do and I'm going to do my own thing. Like literally, if you think about it, like I have this image in my mind where, I mean, okay, so think about this with like what's happening in Palestine, right? So Israel is, killing all these people that are in Palestine and Gaza. And, the plan is ultimately, I guess, to take over, the land, right? Whether that's the true reason or not, whether it's to make profit, war is always for profit. That's why they always need wars going on. But let's just say that's the case, right? I have this image in my mind of how stupid that is in terms of like laws where I just see it. I see like a little like 8.5 by 11 piece of like printer paper and a little kid writing my land on it, right? And then like putting that like on a tree or like on a fucking wall. Like nobody has to fucking listen to this, right? Like that's all the laws are. Just because they write it in fancy terminology, like this thou shalt be the way that those that are shalt be that ooh ah la 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 la. And it's like, like y'all are just like 5-year olds like writing like on a little piece of paper with crayons like you need to drive slow or else we'll put you in a cage. So then everybody's like, okay, and like, but like you realize just like, and it's easier I think to see with like the war example because that's when like a new law is changing the reality landscape where it's like, okay, now new land is part of Israel, where as opposed to like other laws that are kind of established. But you see when it's like a new law is created to like gain more land, you're kind of just like, wait, this land was here before, it's still there after, and the only difference is somebody decided to write with their crayons on a piece of paper that this is my land. So now people that live there are now subject to all the rules of the empire of that country. And, if they break the rules that they say, say you can't walk on this side of the road, then you'll be fined. And you'll be like, what do you mean I'll be fined? Like, I'm just a human living on earth, like eating food and like hanging out with people. And then they're like, well, what that means is you actually can't get any food, first of all, without buying, without, slaving away for our currency. And once you slave away for our currency, then you can buy food because there's nowhere on this earth you can get food yourself. Even if you're like, oh, I want to grow it myself. Well, if you want to have land, the empire is not going to allow you to live on any land without you slaving away to get our currency that we give you, that we type on a little screen, little numbers on a screen that comes out of nowhere. But it's really just like you slaving away, and then we're like, okay, we're gonna give you a little number 5. Okay, you get a gold 5 coin. Now that you slaved away, you can go buy Chipotle. Okay, and oh no, the 5's gone, you guess you gotta slave some more. It's like, this is just slavery. It's just slavery. Like, just say what it is. Like, there's no reason to call it, oh, a job, a retirement, all these things that don't exist. It's like, okay, there's slavery, and then there's like empires killing people for profit, which is war. And then there's like imaginary fucking child's play games, which is all the laws and like boundaries of land and all these other things, right? So I was thinking about in the United States when, you learn about this historic concept called manifest destiny, like, oh, it was God's will for the empire of, the United States to kill all the natives and take all the land. And you're like, wait, how do you take land? Like, land is there. You don't take land. Like, what that doesn't even make sense. Logically, you don't take land. Like, the land is there. What do you mean? And then they're like, oh, well, we decided to draw on a map. Um, we decided to draw on a map where anywhere in this area, you all have to follow my rules. You're like, okay, so this is just empire. And then and then y'all throw around this damn fucking illusory word democracy. I was watching a video yesterday where it's like, I think it was like the Metal Gear 2 where they're like Illuminati explained in Metal Gear 2. And they're like, democracy is just a word we give to the people. It doesn't mean shit. But yeah, it's like we draw a little line on a map, and then you're like, okay, you draw a line on a map. So like, are you making like a fence around like where the land is? Like, okay, between this country and this country, or this state and this state, are you like building an entire fence? Like, how do people know where the boundaries are? And then you're just like, oh well, you don't. You don't know. We do have this one thing though. We have cameras that are very, very high in the sky. And those cameras are able to watch everything that happens on Earth without your consent. Without your consent, they watch everything that happens on Earth. They track you. They're able to send signals to the Earth and track you where you are. And we can use those satellites to then say, oh, this pixel at 42 pixels in and 56 pixels down is now that pixel is Missouri, and then this pixel over here is Illinois. Okay, so and then you're like, wait, but the pixel is a square. Like, how is that accurate? Like, if you just zoom in, and then it gets back to my song Simulacrum, and it's like, we need more pixels and more pixels and more. Oh yeah. Well, this was a fun video to make. I feel like I did a little better job, like, I don't want to say exposing how stupid like fucking Law and War is, but just like what I want to do is ultimately like make films about this, right? Because I feel like these little YouTube videos, it's like I feel like I'm just gonna reach the people that like already kind of know these things. Maybe sort of reach people that are on the edge of like knowing these things, but like the mass majority of people, like people that are like going to fight in wars, are like people, like the type of people that like are spending their entire days like actually like stuck in the matrix. Like all they see is the matrix. They don't know that they're in the matrix, and like they're just completely locked in. Like the only way to fucking reach those people is like to like basically sell them something in the matrix where they feel like they're, you know, just doing something normal, and then it becomes a larger cultural conversation that they have to become a part of, because it's like, oh, you saw this movie, oh, this is what it's talking about, and of course there's going to be disagreements and stuff and shit like that, which then I'm always like, damn, like, maybe it would be helpful to do law, because law is almost a way to like force people, but at the same time it's not a reason to do it, because I always have thought, and I always, the reason I'm taking this path is because, it's not laws that control people, it's their minds, right? You have to change people's minds, because laws are broken every day, right? Like people say one thing and then they act another way. It's because they don't believe in the law. And then, people will say like, oh, well, this law actually means this. It's because that's where their mind is at. So it's all mind control. So at the end of the day, it's about whose mind you're controlling and how you're controlling their mind. And the Matrix does this, from the day that you're born. They give you a number, they start selling and trading you on the stock market, just like how the New York Stock Exchange was originally created for slaves. And now it's still used for slaves. They just call them employees. And all the slaves in the world are continuing to buy into the system. And everybody knows that you can just stop doing this at any moment. Like, you can just say, hey, like, I don't need to listen to you to, like, in order to live on this land. I can live anywhere the fuck I want in the world and not listen to your bitch ass and do whatever the fuck I want. And then they're gonna be like, no, we're gonna send armies of people with guns against you, and you have to listen. And then it's like, at that point, I feel like, you know, the thing is like, I don't think the violence is going to, like, stop that. Now, what I do think is that it's helpful for people to know, everybody to know self-defense, and, like, you know, not be able to, like, be physically taken advantage of, right? Like, so if, like, some government or some empire is like, hey, we want to take this slave and we want to throw them in a cage, I think it's useful for everybody to know how to be able to not be captured, right? And that's a deeper conversation, because with the technology today, with the mind control programs today, you know, there are going to be people that suck up to the Empire and to the Matrix, just like the stormtroopers in Star Wars, and you know, enforce these rules that are keeping them slaves as well. So it's all a mind game, though. So we'll see. But that's why I want to use this language and YouTube and content creation, like I'm doing music and film, hopefully in the future, and whatever it is, to you know really, really get good at, like, digging into that mind control. And the school, right? Like, with my school, oh, I'm so excited. Like, I'm gonna start building, like, the encyclopedia for it now. Well, I've already kind of started building it. I've built, like, out the categories and everything, but, like, it's gonna, like, have, like, real definitions of things. Like, what are taxes? Taxes are a scam that the government. What is democracy? Democracy is a code word for slavery. Not all these fake definitions, and then we'll take the definitions of the world and, like, compare them and be like, this is why this doesn't make sense. This is why language doesn't make sense. I was thinking, again, the last point I'll make, because I just like rambling, but, like, on the language conversation of how yesterday I was like, when does a word become a word? When does we stop being we? Is it when you say what, e? Are those all the same words? Are those just utterances? I was also thinking today, it's like, when you even think about it deeper, it's like grammar isn't even you know, people speak in different grammars and different dialects and different ways of speaking, like, in every place across the world. Like, there's different words and phrases and formulations of sentences that people use, where there's never really a defined right way to say something. And you can say there is by, like, pointing to a book of, like, some author that was hired by the empire to say, like, this is how you need to say this sentence or whatever, and, like, say it clearly. But most humans on this earth are not, like, speaking in 100% grammatically correct sentences all the time, unless they're a fucking bot, for the empire, and have no fucking personality or creativity. So yeah, language and grammar doesn't exist, and we're kind of taught to buy into it. Like, every word that I speak, YouTube is taking and analyzing. Like, I'll say, you should subscribe to the channel, and then they'll make the little light around the subscribe button. So they're listening to every fucking word. And the best thing would be to be able to, like, break out of this and have our own languages. And it's not even our own languages, but it's just our own way of communicating with each other, because we're all telepathic and we can communicate beyond these words. And we're all souls and spirits. So drop a like if you enjoyed this video. Peace. I'll see you in the next one. Okay.